This is a continuation of Project Snow Beast. Those that haven't watched any of the previous videos, I'll just introduce. It's a John Deere 445 garden tractor. It's undergone a whole complete redo, fixing things that went bad from use over the years, and sitting for many years after it was used by the original owner. It's got a rear weight box, bunch of suitcase weights. It's got tire chains. The engine is a Kawaski twin-cylinder liquid-cooled 22 horsepower. There's three in this actual series of tractors. There's the 425, which is 20 horsepower Kawaski, 445, 22 horse, and the 455, which is a diesel, and I can't remember if that's up in the 20s, I assume, in the horsepower range. But this one happens to be the gas version, of course, 22 horsepower. So what I want to do today, we have a working tractor now. Everything on this thing is working how it should. And I want to start by putting back on the quick hitch. That's the goal for today. And then the quick hitch will later be attached to this 47 snowblower, which has been robbed of all its gearbox, auger, parts, etc., but has a good housing. And I'm going to take the parts off this other one that has anything but a good housing, but does have the augers in the gearbox. And we're going to try to make all the parts work. Hopefully this has everything we need, you know, the bearing ends and all that stuff. Should be the same, you know, should be the ones we need. This carcass is kind of rotted out and kind of beat up and got some holes in it and not so good for using anymore. So that's why I bought that as a parts machine. So for today, let's see if I can get that quick hitch back on, and just more pieces off the ground and more pieces closer to a completed machine for me. Guess that's why they call it a quick hitch. Not bad. Okay, so that was a little harder than it would have been because I was pulling up on that part and the other part was dropping. So in order to move it, I just ratcheted it up and got it over here where more suitable place to work on it. And then let's work on these lines, because I did have to take those off. Those that have watched the series know that these were stuck in the ports on the other side. So the only way I could originally get the tractor apart was to unscrew the other end, which would normally be attached to that front cylinder. So I see that the check valves seem to still work here. And I know these are quite expensive, so let's just clean the rust off of them. And we'll be ready to see if they want to fit in there good. Get this strap off of here so I can access. Looks like this would have been for retaining this pin. Okay, we'll fix that soon. I'm just going through all this for the first time, so a little moss, a little grease, That might be leaking a little bit because I see a lot of grease there. We may have to replace that. We'll give it a try, pressure it up, and see if it's a drip or if it's a leak. If it's seeping or if it's a leak, I guess I would say. The rest of this isn't in too bad a shape, really, as far as the rust goes. It's pretty heavy gauge steel on most part. Okay, enough talking. There's a little loop on the tractor right there. These will go through that. And of course, they have color-coded black, green to go to their proper ports there. But the question is, on the other side, I got a short one and a long one. So should we assume this would go to the top? Or would that definitely go to the bottom? And did these come this way? So many unknowns for me. I think they went around. There's a little dirt here. It makes me think it might have been here. I took this apart so long ago. It's not good. Why would this have to be 90'd? The short one almost certainly, no, it absolutely didn't go here because it won't reach. If I'm all the way back, if I was plugged in, this can't go this way. Did they go up and over? Like this? And that would make sense why that one would need a 90. Yeah, I think that's how they went. Let's try it. If it goes in the reverse acting, I'll switch them. But until then, I think it goes right here. That totally makes sense because the short one, it's so short, it would only reach going through, not around. And that makes sense because you wouldn't want this hitting something. I don't know how close you get with how close the machine hangs back here. Okay, let's go with that. Probably pretty obvious to somebody that has one or somebody smart enough to go review their old videos to see when they took it off. But I'm pretty sure this has got to be how it goes. That's a little obstructed. If I only had a set of obstruction wrenches, please subscribe. I think that's tight enough. That swivel's a little loose down there. Can you see where I'm at? No, you sure can't. That swivel's a little loose, but I don't think I'm going to get a whole nother turn out of it. Do I dare? I don't think so. But I'm a little concerned that that might be my leak. I may have to take that back off later. Yeah, that's pretty loose on there. Not so sure. Not so sure. I might as well just try to give it another whole turn. I don't know if it'll go all the way around though. I don't want to like break it off in there. What size would that be that it would turn with? Not that one. Man, feel like fumble fingers in there. That is a different size. I gotta get my head where you guys are. Oh, it's one of those, you put it where you want it and you lock it down fittings. I thought the whole thing was turning. Again, somebody with experience on these was yelling at me just now. There we go. It's pretty cold out, if I didn't mention, and the hoses are probably not as pliable as they might be normally. There we go. Probably got that a little forward where it doesn't have to be. I feel good about that. Now, let's see if we can get these connectors. Yeah, that had to be how they work, because these are about almost exactly the right size now. Now let's see if this will fit in my brand new couplers. Oh, those are stuck in there pretty good, aren't they? Do you do this? You do. Sorry, folks, I have to laugh at my own fails. Oh, yeah. Now the question is, does it work? We're going to have to bleed out the fluid because those are, of course, completely empty, and the cylinder is completely empty. But I did overfill the hydro a little bit, which runs all the fluid on the tractor, so we should be okay. Wildwood. Got you back out here today. So I got the, I just mounted the quick hitch to the carcass that I'm going to be filling with parts. This one is missing. They've cut off the shaft. I don't know the whole story, but I'm assuming the gearbox assembly or auger was damaged early in its life, because this thing, even though there's just light rust starting, is basically new. They were very few scratches and stuff. They were just using it as a push box, like a box blade, I guess you call it, or something. They've taken some thin sheet metal. Obviously it didn't hold up very well when it got caught, but like the cutting edge here looks really good. Everything looks totally usable. Good plastics. It had the hoses that I still have to get hooked back up to their quick connects. But the condition of it is phenomenal. Doesn't even need a repaint really, except for the very outside edges where it got scraped wherever they were running it. But real nice condition. So if I didn't mention, this is a parts machine. It does not have a scraper bar. It is not in perfect condition. A couple of rust holes here and there, even though that's pretty thick metal. But I bought this as a parts machine because the owner of it stripped it out for, I don't know if he needed the cutting edge or if he just, but it's not complete. This doesn't have the quick hitch. Got cable hanging out here. I don't know if that's just the end or if that's needed. But between the two of them, Here I've got a good gearbox. I got the auger flights. I got the bearing ends. We got the other back auger, which this one, I don't even know if it's in there. Yeah, I think it's in there. We got that. We got, if we need any parts for these chains or anything, this one also didn't come with the drive shaft, but we have the drive shaft on this one. So the idea is, oh, and here's what I didn't see. Probably the worst rust of all is in the main auger housing. So anyway, the idea is take the parts from this one, put it on that one, and get a working snowblower again. Hence the name Snow Beast. I guess where I'm going to get started is, let me just start by taking that metal off of there. Then I don't know, it looks like they drilled holes to mount that, giant holes like a self-tapper would have done, but they went and did like, 3/8 bolt or something through. I didn't really notice that until just now. So maybe I'll weld that and maybe I won't to get started with, and get all that dirt out of the bottom channel there and just start getting this one cleaned up. Just see what we have here and make a plan from there. So as I'm getting set up to work, sometimes I notice some stuff. Here's something hilarious. Squirrel. Here's his back foot, back legs. His little front paws all muddy. Kind of funny. Ridiculously oversized for a whatever 14 gauge piece of metal or whatever it is. It's got the sticker on there. I guess you use what you have, or you use what you think you need. Yeah, so just to get a first look on this plastic impeller, I did not expect that. Also, if I have to get this nut off, that is a big old rusty nut. Not much use, as I said, but we do have paint loss. This is all missing paint all through here. And it looks like it's there, but the way this is painted, it's usually, I think they primered them, dipped electrostatic, whatever, and then put on some powder coat on top, and they never got the adhesion. That's one of John Deere's faults. You know, it rusts underneath. It looks like it's fine on the top, but there is some rust on the bottom third of this, I'd say. So I may have to nuts in there and everything. I may have to repaint some of this, and that's fine because I may patch the holes that are here and down here where they drilled the extra ones. This one would be challenging because I'm going to have to take out this this cutting edge if I weld this, because I sure don't want to weld that cutting edge in place. That would be a mistake if you ever needed to replace it again. Yeah, and the more I look at the differences between this one and the parts machine, good thing I got this one, because like these are missing on the parts machine, both sides. Strange fact, these are mounted inboard inside the box. I've never seen that. Usually I would think this would, you know, like on a little walk behind mower, or you know, walk behind snowblower rather. This would be the left side, or this would be the opposite side, bolted on the outside of this going over. But I guess then that would disturb undisturbed snow, so they didn't want to do that. So they put it on the inside. I've never seen that. But it's I guess it's the way it's supposed to be. I'm going to look on the drawing. If they're supposed to be on the outside, then I'll move them, because I mean it would sort of impede some of the snow coming up, but not in a major way, but just kind of interesting. And yeah, this has some use on it, because if you look at the thickness of the metal here, pull you out of your holder there. If you look at the thickness of the metal there, it does taper down a good bit. So they've got some hours on this box, as a scraper box anyway. Interesting. I don't think that was tapered like that factory. I think that's just worn out. Which, I mean, that's what they're for. It's designed to be sacrificial, so you're not scraping into this, and then once you scrape past your bar, if you don't replace that in time, it gets into the box itself. Then you've got a bigger repair on hand. So it's best to catch this wear bar before it gets into the box. That's why it's there, to be a sacrificial piece. Anyway, let's not get sidetracked here. Yeah, other differences I'm noticing. This one, like I said, I was awful surprised that that was a plastic impeller. Well, if we look at the parts machine, it is not. That is a metal impeller. So hopefully they made this recess hole the same diameter through the years, because that's what we got to work with. And I don't feel like ordering a new impeller from John Deere. What I think I'm looking at here is a keyway with a key in it. Then I got to remove this nut. Then I think the shaft would push through. So let me go by that idea. Not sure if I'm getting that to lift up or not. Diagonal pliers. not with me. Okay. Oh, I think it moved. Yes, it's moving. Trying to just go up at an angle here, just enough to get a hold of it. There we go. Rusty old bugger. Now, what ridiculous size nut did that used to be? Oh my gosh. The whole front end of that is rounded off, or that's the way it was made. Is it focusing right? I've got the front metal, it goes back, the nut or the part that's you can get a hold of starts back there, goes back, round, that's round. Then the hex only starts in the last little bit. What the hey? Did somebody like get a big socket and round that off? Or what? Weird. Okay, I might be getting ahead of myself. We may not have to take that off at all. If we're going to reuse only the parts in the parts machine, here's what I just found out. This is the back side of that. That shaft can come out the front. I don't have to take all that other stuff off. So it looks like I got at least, we see one hole for probably an Allen screw. It's probably two on one this size. I'm going to put this blade down, get me some room to work in here. And maybe we'll have a chance of good access there. And we'll go from the back. We'll take the back sheave off and poke everything out the front. And then I don't have to worry about what that nut is. Or I wonder if that nut is, could that be threaded onto that shaft? No, there's a keyway there. I have no idea. Does that give me room? Oh, that gives me good room. And you know what? Why don't I just take off the quick hitch? It's two little pins. Yeah, let's do that. Now we got better access. And this one's missing the chain too. They probably took that off just so that inner part wasn't flopping around, because this thing, I don't know if that shows up on camera, because the front bearing isn't there, that thing probably was flopping all around making noise. If this was engaged at all, if you would accidentally engage this when using it as a push box. Oh, one hole, two hole. Let me see if we got set screws in there. I'll back those out and hopefully be able to push that shaft forward. I'm not sure that there's, I think they've already removed those probably when they were trying to get that chain off. Yeah, this one I'm looking through. I think those are both gone. Maybe all I have to do is start tapping on this. I'm going to wire brush that just a little bit. There's a little exposed there, and then hopefully it'll push through. Because I can strike down on this. Oh, by the way, I turned this on the end if I didn't tell you. So now I have a good way of accessing it. Yes, I should be using a brass hammer. Please subscribe. Maybe I can get one. Or if you want to get me one even quicker, go under the video box there, and you'll see a little thing where you can donate some money. And I would much appreciate that. I thought it went a little at first. I'm going to heat this up, try to break that bond it might have. Took me a minute to realize I'm probably dealing with a collar on the back of that, and I'm trying to push the collar through its bearing, and that's not going to work. This thing probably isn't stuck as bad as I thought it was. And this puller, usually they have a little nipple on the end. This one's pretty worn out, so we'll do our best here. What size is that? Yeah, it's a little loose, but it'll work. Yep, there's a collar on there, and I was working on smushing the collar, not really pushing the shaft like I thought it was. Now I got all this hot. Does that shaft have, probably it's got Allen wrench set screws in it, or maybe not. Get the key out. Yeah, there's set screws in that. So that's what I was actually sliding. Not so much that gear was grabbing. I don't know what size that really would be. Is it rusty or is it... I'll figure that out, bring it back. Okay, I got it hooked up. This one only had... Oh, it's already loose. Although, like I said, I don't think I can really grab it. Maybe I can lift it by the wiggling it. There we go. Now will you go through? Much better, but still not all the way. Probably mushroomed out that shaft after beating on it like I did. Yeah, I think I might have mushroomed that shaft just a hair. So what I'm going to do is just take a little metal off all the way around with the grinder. Sandpaper probably wouldn't be enough. And then I'll try to pound it back through. Got that cleaned up a little bit. Took just a hair, just a hair. That stops pretty dead right at that collar. I'm going to go back through and take just a hair more off. Nice. Just another observation. There's some kind of spring here that's broken. But what's interesting is these brackets, this whole bracket, is not on this machine. So I think maybe that's like a... This to me looks like some kind of helper spring. Maybe to help lift that heavy load. It's hanging way off the front. So the your hydraulic cylinder doesn't work so hard. I don't think it's a drive shaft loop because it's turned the other way. The drive shaft would be, facing that way. And it doesn't look like it's been turned. But I don't understand what it would catch on because I don't have the rest of it. So I'm going to have to look that up online and see what that spring does. And if I'm going to need to repaint these and transfer them over, if that looks like something that's needed, because I'm not quite sure what that does. Looks like it shows lock, unlock. Just pictorial of, I guess, how to connect the PTO, and gives you your rotating shaft sticker. Maybe it's just a guard, but then yeah, this does something. So just more stuff I'm finding as I look into it. While I got the gear puller out from its home, I will take this one off. Yes. I'll take these over Allen bolts anytime. This one appears to be of an older style model, the parts machine I'm working on here, because it has this kind of stuff, whereas anything newer would an all metal auger, and the new one has a plastic auger. Not that a plastic auger couldn't do the job, but you just kind of associate heavy steel with durability, especially when cold. Now, I don't know if I'd really be able to pull this with the chain still on, but I should be able to find a master link. Let me try to spin this a little. Will it spin? Yeah, it'll spin easy. Let me try to... Oh, I already found it. Sweet. It was right there staring at me. Let me get, where'd my big screwdriver go? Yep. Get her loosened up a little first. Nice. You thought I was going to lose that piece, didn't you? Almost. Okay. Now that'll let me get in my chain how I want to get into it. If I need to pull it straight out, it'll let me. Whereas the chain might have given enough, but I don't think it really would have. They've got that about flush, just like the other one. Ooh, that's pretty tight, folks. I'm going to hit it with some heat, just like the other one. Seemed to work. Well, I didn't get the shot, but it just, all I did was heat one side of it, and all of a sudden, bink! Off she comes. Nice. Will the key off come off reasonably? Can't quite get the edge of it there. Yes. Let's see if we can get this collar. Yes, these ones, for some reason, stay pretty nice inside. I guess it's semi-enclosed in here. The rust and the water doesn't get on it too bad. The other one only had one, if I didn't mention that. Somebody was playing in there trying to take all that stuff apart. Also, the like the bearing holder. This had only one bolt in the other one. Yeah, this one feels like it's got... No, just maybe just had the one. Not sure. Will it go into there? Well, if it doesn't come off easy, I know what's going on. But it doesn't appear, I can feel threads there. Doesn't appear like it does have both, so maybe that's how they came. I'm going to wire brush this a little bit so that collar can come off easy. Oh, that's the good greasy kind of rust. They had some grease on that shaft. That's good. Keeps it nice. I got bristles on both sides if you're wondering. See if I can get a hold of that collar. I just don't know if that other one's in there. It just doesn't feel like it, but doesn't mean it's not. There we go. We're loose. Move you a little bit. See, the other one, I loosened up the collar a lot by hammering. This one, I don't want to do that because I want to leave this shaft as nice as I can and the collar. It's not one to, doesn't want to just slide off, but anyway, I'm going to work on this a little bit, bring it back. Got mine off in one piece. What worked was putting a flathead screwdriver through that thing on the side, twisting, and then just turning with a pair of channel locks and come off pretty well. And I also did use a little penetrating oil. I don't normally like to do that. If you have powdery rust, sometimes it just seems to jam more, but in this case, it did work. Now I want to just get that bearing assembly off of there. If I can slide that back, then I know the shaft will come out easy because the shaft will be hanging in midair, of course. These are carriage bolts, so I got to keep them pulled toward me somehow. Sometimes easier said than done. And this is that case. There. That got lucky. Got it. Stuck in my socket. Come on. There we go. Yeah. Also stuck in my socket. Got it. Yeah. It was coming nice. And it stopped. A little bit of emery cloth will probably help this one more than I think. So let me get some of that. Oh man, that made that much better. And the tang side faces out for future me. Bearing in the middle. Yeah, since I already got it up on end, let's take off these end bearing assemblies. Back on the parts machine, of course. The other one didn't have any. Man, those corroded fasteners get stuck. You get the idea. I'll get all three, bring it back. Keep noticing more and more oddities. They've got like this counterweight piece on the end where there's no flute. It looks like it's just there for weight. Has no angle to it. Very strange. Probably just to balance it, I guess. Must be a vibration issue. Huh. Anyway, the other thing that holds this gearbox is we got this bracket that goes up to two nicely rusted bolts there. So I'll just get those while we got it up on end, and then I'll go for the other bearing assembly. And then I believe that center section should pull out. Got you looking at those two bolts that hold that bracket from the inside. And I'd be fine if they just snap right off because they are big and rusty. I've got a vice grip holding the inside. What came off? Only because they got the bolt almost fully engaged in the nut. Barely any bolt hanging out the end. Wise choice of fastener length. Not bad, John Deere. Not bad. Get the other side of this auger freed up. Man, those love this stick. I believe all fasteners are loosened, but the next question is, how much will that wheel catch on that lip? Why don't I just turn that? Because it's stuck now, because it's sitting on the bottom. Guess I should have looked at that before. I want this blade down there. The bottom blade is catching. There's a lip here. I gotta get that rotated. Don't want to damage it. Now, oh, is that heavy? Is that heavy? There we go. That's our prize. And I see we got a little bearing adapter there I better not lose. See, this is the thing. If I was just buying these pieces individually, I might have forgot this whole piece. Keep these together. It's got a little play. May or may not replace that. Squirrel with a big mouthful of leaves. Oh no, he dropped some.